Hi, my name is Cameron Wahlberg.
And I am May Murphy. Our project is On the Butcher's Block, butchering the past to serve the future.
Now more than ever, the current architectural building construction methods are contributing to an immense amount of earth exploitation and permanent resource depletion, also known in slaughterhouse terms as hacking. What happens when there are no more resources left to feed the consumerist appetite of extraction, abandonment, and exploitation of materials? How can we rebuild a system that instead reclaims existing building features and chops material together? We butcher.
To butcher is to carefully extract, examine, and reconstruct artifacts. It is to carefully take pieces from existing sites and reassemble into new structures. When one prepares a butchered feast, they reckon with what was given, how it was in its previous life, and how it is beneficial now. So what does it mean to butcher a building? To refine its structural qualities and to preserve its material cultural significance in Des Moines, Iowa. The setting of Des Moines has been growing for the past 2 decades, bringing with it new infrastructure and material. In August 2020, the city of Des Moines has currently declared 54 sites in the local area a public nuisance, which are predicted to be demolished in the next 5 years, with more in the future. We propose techniques to provide care on a material scale through the process of circular construction economy, a practice keeping materials and products in the economy as long as possible by reusing or butchering them. A major challenge for reusing building debris is knowing the quality, quantity, and temporal availability of demolition material. Cities become material mines available for future reuse. Robotic analysis, deconstruction, and maintenance is key to kickstarting the process of creating a material library, research database, and a path forward in the construction industry in the U.S.
Our studio brief works with 120 East 5th Street as an historic depot which recently completed renovation by BNIM as of 2021. We imagine the depot in the state it was in before its renovation as an artifact left abandoned, waiting for use. The East Des Moines Depot was built in 1909 and served as a train depot along the rail line through the 20s. It outgrew its original program and was developed into a tomato storage unit. Its eventual abandonment signaled the end of its programmatic use, being placed on a list to be demolished. But the building consists of valuable elements such as terracotta brick, hardwood floors, and slate shingle roofing. What can we do with this existing material narrative?
In this proposal, the rail will be reinvested back into the larger transportation system of Des Moines and the Midwest via the original Wabash rail network, with transport from Kansas City to Buffalo. It will transport machines, material, and resources, as well as be a part of a larger network of proposed urban mining butcher laboratories in the U.S., dealing with other specific materials such as steel, glass, insulation, and wall material. To create the site in Des Moines, machines will carefully dissect and butcher the existing depot in order to preserve the materials.
Load-bearing walls will be the north and south facades and create a patchwork of bricks which will be tied together using reclaimed steel members. This steel structure will provide the framework for the precast concrete panels with the reclaimed brick veneer. We are using the unique structural capabilities of brick and working with the modularity as well as the innovation of precast veneer systems in our assembly type. The construction process will be automated with the help of Brock robots, KUKA arms, and drones as means of delivery as construction moves up the wall. As more brick and masonry are taken from other sites, the stockpile will eventually be turned into one of 2 facade systems, precast panels, or integrated into a load-bearing masonry wall. Each brick will be assigned a ranking of its integrity and where it should be placed in an assembly on the facade. The load-bearing masonry walls will be stacked from most integral to least, forming a strong foundation to support the height of the walls while also creating a material storage within its own walls.
Walls are designed to be deconstructed and taken apart, and are always subject to change. Details have specifications on how this process works. After completion, a mutual relationship between human and robot will carefully remove, salvage, and care for the material of off-site buildings. These materials will be collected, tagged, analyzed, and researched, with material samples brought back to the lab in Des Moines. Here, it will be tested for quality, half-life, and construction capabilities, which can be implemented in the remaining material off-site. Using construction design software like Grasshopper, the robots have the capability to produce a variety of facade iterations, structural components, and sculptural pieces. Contractors, architects, and engineers are invited to investigate these tests until they are again deconstructed, reused, or recycled by using robotic construction, artificial intelligence, and machine learning methods. The public is also encouraged to visit these material archives in order to recall the story behind the artifacts.
The layout of the building allows for a distinction between public versus private, keeping public spaces towards 5th Street and the private spaces oriented towards 4th Street, with a collision space in the gallery between the two halves. The surrounding site will be used for material storage and a public access space of an annual pavilion located on the now butchered depot. Interior spaces will include education workshops as well as galleries for hands-on experiences. The interior of the space, divided into fourths, allows for visual collisions, placing programs of education, research, and workshops in the center. This allows for the demystifying of these deconstruction and reconstruction practices. Our construction space will house a system of robots and resources focused on the storage and testing of masonry, with labs directly connected to the depot and rail line for material transportation. To help offset the energy consumption, we are incorporating solar panels across the roofs as means of collection.
Due to the construction of the load-bearing walls, opportunities for northern and southern light exposure are limited. We mitigate this by exploring different passive overhead lighting options, including clerestories, monitors, and light diffusing louvers. The lighting condition in the building is set up for passive solar heat gain in the 2,000 square foot lobby space, as well as solar energy production and operable ventilation systems in conjunction with passive chilled beams in high traffic public areas.
Our perspective drawings utilize journaling, sketching, and collaging to create a dialogue between the material, people, and robotic inhabitants within the space. This incorporation of drawn media collage builds on the experiences of its occupants, the act of visual material memory, as well as the innovation of material for memories to come. These three views are prime locations of these collisions, represented in the gallery space, rail line connection, and research towers.
The butcher block technique utilizes material analysis and maintenance. It challenges the way preservation is defined through robotic synthesis in the building and allows for an alternative form of preservation and remembrance of deconstructed structures. It recognizes the importance of the material narrative in terms of its memory, journey, and larger role in the building components. Butchering the past to serve the future.
Thank you for your time in reviewing our presentation. We would now like to invite you to explore our additional catalog of work. We have created a printable pocketbook guide enabling you to explore the world of reuse around us, examining different case studies of manual butchering as community engagement and supplemental construction material resources are available. Also, you can find the complete review drawing set as well as all of our work from the past semester on our website. Thank you again.